I think there's a purpose in why there's so many different outlets and so many different social media agencies that are there, because it is a different element, and I think it's something that people tend to neglect a bit too much, and they don't understand the power of social media and the power of content. I think content's probably, within marketing, I think getting the content right is probably the hardest part on, no matter if you're organic, paid media, because there's not only so many different elements to it, you've got so many different like sizes you've got to write, you've got to do right, you've got banners on the website, you've got banners on your social media, there's product placement, there's placements where, like I said, so it's a combination of everything. It's like which one tells the best story for yourself.
And also now people are very aware of like what they're buying into as well. You know, like there's a thing with a couple of brands like telling you not to buy from them. So I think people would like to know like the ethos behind the brand or who's created it. So again, it's another USP that people are buying into you.
Yeah, like the whole brand personality. Yeah. There's one of our members who's doing really well, and like you said earlier about having like the raw content, and her content is a lot of people that have bought her product and are using it. So it's like in a real environment. It's in the beauty niche. So like you've got beauticians using it, and she shares their content, she uses their content, but it's like raw and real images where you can actually see it. It's not just a stock image or like just even a picture of her actual product.
Hi guys, thanks for joining us today here in sunny Beverly Hills. Obviously we have myself, Anna, Tami and Josh on our podcast today. We're going to be touching everything about content, the idea of how would the evolution of content's come from back when myself and Ryan started talking in 2017 when we first started to work together, all the way to today, and obviously how it's going to evolve beyond as well, because I think it's within e-commerce and not just content. I think it's a platform, and digital marketing is a constantly evolving thing. And I think it's both constantly evolving and difficult to understand because there's different elements of content and different usage of the content. So, for example, you would use your Instagram or your more organic social media content is a lot more professionally shot and a lot more edited, as opposed to sometimes people relate a lot more on content you're utilizing within ads if they're more raw and unedited, because it gives you that idea of what the after purchase effect is.
I think with from a personal like Instagram and social media perspective, when we always laugh about this, but Ryan's first ever post on social, like on Instagram, was a picture of his dinner. No one does that anymore. That's how it used to be used, isn't it? But now you look at some, like you come across some accounts and all their pictures are like stunning. They look amazing. No one posts their dinner anymore. So it's just like,
I guess that's where like, you know, the Instagram versus reality
comes
in, because it has to look like picturesque, doesn't it?
We had a conversation yesterday, and it is somewhat part of that sales funnel. You've got to imagine now that 90% of the people are, on average, I think it says you've got to see a product 4 or 5 times before you actually purchase it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
and
it's
now
more than
the most likely place that they're going to see a product, you might interact with them on a social media and an ad and stuff like that, but more than likely they're going to go onto your social media, and this is an opportunity to build that element of trust, so they can buy into the brand, they can understand your persona, they can understand what your imagery, your colors. You've got a consistency there, but again, if you're not posting regular as well, then obviously that discredits you. So the idea of content and being proactively with content is massive. But I think we spoken with Ryan yesterday. It creates somewhat of a sales funnel or a pre-sales funnel to build that trust as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you need to. I think a lot of people they need to try and transition from having like a personal social media to like a business social media. You know.
Yeah.
And I think you just need to, with regards to like in the e-commerce side, you know, building like socials for e-commerce, you have to be active and you have to have good content.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's different from marketing. The marketing content is going to be different from using the social media, because it's more for credibility. It's more of a sales funnel sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's completely different from like the marketing side of things.
I think you just touched on a really good point there. When you first go onto social media as a business, and it's only you like running everything, I think people do struggle to stay consistent.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you get obviously demotivated because you're not seeing the results. But it's like if you never had like those gaps in between, you probably would see the results.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you go on, you've got to commit to whatever you're setting yourself to do, whether that's however many posts, stories.
I think there's a purpose in why there's so many different outlets and so many different social media agencies that are there, because it is a different element. And I think it's something that people tend to neglect a bit too much, and they don't understand the power of social media and the power of content. I think content's probably, within marketing, I think getting the content right is probably the hardest part on, no matter if you're organic, paid media, because there's there's not only so many different elements to it, you've got so many different like sizes you've got to write, you've got to do right, you've got banners on the website, you've got banners on your social media, there's product placement, there's placements where, like I said, so it's a combination of everything. It's like which one tells the best story for yourself. But again, every image should have a story in it. And I think as well, you can create somewhat, or you can go on to Canva, and you can go on to obviously different placements, you can look at the templates and stuff like that. But realistic, the templates and the free templates, because they're not as good as what they were. Every template on Canva, it serves a purpose, but realistically, you should edit them ones to make them your own persona. And it's not even just about how it looks content, it's how it makes someone feel in terms of you use certain colours. So if you want an element of trust, you can use like Trustpilot and stuff like that. So, or you can use the green at a Trustpilot. So it's how content should be more, not what it looks like, but how it makes someone feel. Yeah.
Yeah, people buy with emotions, don't they? Like,
but that's also why memes are incorporated so heavily in marketing strategies. Because, like when you see it and you laugh because you can relate to it.
And you send it to your friend.
Yeah, you send it to your friend, but it's like that brand relates to like what, whether it's like a mum meme or something else. Like you get that good feeling, and that's the brand.
People like funny things, don't
they?
They like watching stuff like that. And I know you said like people buy with their emotions, but they buy with their eyes as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why it's so important to have good content. I think one thing that a lot of people make a mistake on when they've built like a store and then they go into the social side, they use a lot of content from suppliers, which is stock content. Yeah. And it's the worst content that you can get. If you're going to take it serious, you want to, order the product. Yeah. Let's get some good content ourselves, professional photography and stuff like that. You want to stand out from the competition out there, don't you?
There's one of our members who's doing really well, and like you said earlier about having like the raw content, and her content is a lot of people that have bought her product and are using it. So it's like in a real environment. It's in the beauty niche. So like you've got beauticians using it, and she shares their content, she uses their content, but it's like raw and real images where you can actually see it. It's not just a stock image or like just even a picture of her actual product. It's like it's proper in use. It's
very much so. So technical term is like an after purchase effect. So it shows an image of what you want to be feeling after someone's purchased it. But just touching on, Anna mentioned it a minute ago, and obviously you're touching it about like that meme content, that funny content. So when you're building your social media presence as well, and when you're building your organic presence, if you have the branding to incorporate one or two jokes, that's probably one of the quickest ways is to do like the memes. Sometimes they get the largest level of engagement, but you have to be very selective. And if sometimes people go wrong in this because they don't have the right branding, or they don't have the right presentation about themselves, that it doesn't suit them, so they go about engagement content the wrong way. And like I said, you can use engagement content where you can put a question out there, or you can speak about a trending product. Like I said, there's so many different levels to engagement content, but a lot of people try and utilize the meme ones, which again, like I said, discredits you if you've not got the right brand to push that forward.
Yeah,
or you can use like the popular memes that you see going round, and then put like your when you get your whatever product you're selling, and it's like a meme that you've seen.
Yeah, make
just
it
on personal branding and like on organics on social media. You guys obviously do you see a difference in what you would post for a story compared to what you would post as a feed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. A story can be a little bit more in the background a little bit. You know,
and that's a bit more raw and real life, isn't it?
Exactly,
Whereas,
yeah.
You wouldn't post that on your feed. That, like what I said, like sometimes you maybe do post your dinner in your story, but you would never put that on your feed now.
Yeah, no. And if you've got an e-commerce store as well, it's also a lot of people like to see like the owner doing like behind the scenes kind of stuff. That's really nice.
There was a reel that actually come up in front of me a while back, and it was a product, and it was a dog bowl, and they created a funny UGC reel out of it. Basically, what they did, it was like one of them bowls that don't spill water. So what they did, they had like an old bowl, which was like a stainless steel bowl or something like that, and every time the dog went and had something out of it, the water would go everywhere. But what they did is they'd walk in front of it, slip over and fall into like a cupboard or something like that. But it attracted a lot of attention, and the reels started getting more engagement and stuff like that, which brought more people through, and then, you know, converted in the end with like buying a product. But it's stuff like that can work as well.
That again is like subtle marketing.
Yeah.
So do you gain more of an audience and more of an attraction because, okay, is it a meme, but you've got perfect product placement in it? Like I said, you're creating a funny environment around it, but the environment that you've created is to laugh at the product. As you've got to get that sense of engagement, and I think that kind of like leads us on to the involvement of like social media. Like it's one of them ones, you evolve or extinct. Very much. I said, if you're still posting pictures of your food on your actual feed, realistically, you're going to be extinct. Like, there's no credible value that comes from it.
Yeah.
And if you want to work in a space of like, it's very similar to if you're just posting, like Josh said a minute ago, on your brand e-commerce one, if you're just posting the images you've taken from your supplier, realistically, it discredits you somewhat. Like I said, you can take them ones, you can edit them slightly. You need to put USPs in and stuff like that. You need to try and get video content. Like when we first started working together, like it was okay that, and this was pre-iOS, so Facebook helped you a little bit more, and like you could do single images, and there wasn't really that much. Not Amazon wasn't as big as what it was, and like there wasn't different places like Alibaba or AliExpress where people are more familiar of it. It was always a sense of, okay, I don't know if I can buy from them. But whereas now, the idea is that you could sell a similar product to these platforms and stuff like that, but the reason why someone buys from you is that credibility, that element of trust that you've built, and that trust. The main element of trust is your content. But like I said, you can't. That in what you've grown from now is, like I said, you don't really do single images and stuff like that. Like I said, you do the behind the scenes, you do video content. Like it's that element of someone wants to buy into it. And I think that's why if you went into an idea of like YouTube and stuff like that, like vlogs work so much well because people want to see the persona behind the actual person. They want to see that behind the scenes and stuff like that.
I think also now people are very aware of like what they're buying into as well. You know, like there's a thing with a couple of brands like telling you not to buy from them. So I think people would like to know like the ethos behind the brand or who's created it. So again, it's another USP that people are buying into you.
Yeah, like
and
the whole brand personality. Yeah.
With that, though, what I'm seeing a lot of lately is being, I don't know how you would, what they would say, but like people are now using the tagline of, don't buy this product. And then doing that, it made me lose weight. Or don't buy this product. Because then you're like, but that'd be your own brand. And I think it's weird, isn't it? How
it gets your attention. But I've seen that. The reasons I regret buying this, and then it's all positive things, but it does make you think, why should I not buy this?
Wrong?
And then you're like,
But it's all like trial and error as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You're trying different things. And obviously they've tried something different, which is the complete opposite. And it's working. So it's just about trying different things with regards to obviously marketing. You know what I mean? You have to keep changing things all the time. Even with like going into the marketing with like images. If you've got like a standard image or you've taken an image or something, let's maybe change the colour of the background. Because more people might like different colour than that. It's all the little tweaks that you can do within marketing.
And keeping up with trends, because that they're like changing, and TikTok wasn't even about however a few years ago, and now that's massive, and
I know.
the TikTok style videos do really well. So obviously that's the newest trend. There'll be something else that comes, and you need to, like you said earlier, adapt and just go with the trends, learn
the next
from
thing,
them.
and I think Arnie, the shoe company, are doing it probably one of the best at the moment, is that visually see it on you. So if you go onto the website, you can see the trainers on your feet and stuff like that. And I think that's if you can somewhat do adapt that.
Pandora
and Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, where you can see
a lot of the larger brands now are catching on to it. Where okay, and I think you can do it if you buy from B&Q or something like that, or you can scan around your room, see does that table fit and stuff like that. That's probably going to be the next level of technology. You kind of have to evolve with it as well. It's an element of trust, and one of the issues, and it might eradicate this issue for companies, is that a lot of the times you'll buy. I know my wife does it a lot of times. She'll buy clothes in different sizes and then send them back. So that kind of eradicates that issue. If you have the content and the adaptability to, okay, I can see how it fits, you might order 2 sizes. You still might order a different size because it might fit differently, but it can somewhat eradicate that one, because a lot of issues is that you believe that's a sale, but in 30 days' time, you've then got to refund that and stuff like that. So that it can cause issues there. So it's adaptability with content that makes your business grow.
I think with content as well, video content is so powerful. We do a lot of masterminds, don't we, in the system? We really push video content. We still get members that don't want to do video content that much, but when they do, they start seeing better results, don't they? More engagement and stuff like that. Video content's so powerful.
And that's evolved because when I first started using Instagram, you couldn't even post any videos on there at all, could you?
There
wasn't stories.
It was
TikTok are now trying to move to
I don't think it had filters either.
No.
TikTok are now trying to move to a more of a long form platform. So there's something called a TikTok beta creative or something like that, where they're paying people decent, good amount of money to these content creators and influencers. But they have the rule they have to make over a minute long video. So that form of, so they've gone from this quick 5 to 15 second video, snappy, where to now they're trying to promote and they're paying large amount of influencers that extra fee if they're making a minute long product, because it keeps people on the platform a little bit more, I guess. But
is that the live? The lives where
live.
You can tag. That's good as well, isn't it?
The
where you have
lives
the
are really
live
good.
and can tag.
They TikTok
the
Shop
products.
has last year 2023 made 1 billion in sales. You think it probably only went live 2022? The growth in TikTok has skyrocketed, and I think that's credit to the algorithm's a little bit invasive in terms of they listen to your phone calls, the images, the every part of your phone. And I don't want to scare people or anything like that. Look, your phone's getting tracked by anyone. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Everyone knows this anyway.
Everyone knows it. But I'm saying, like I said, how the algorithm creates it's so in depth in looking into it that what I watch is you won't have seen it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You won't have seen it, stuff like that. So there's so much on the platform, but the algorithm's so strong at showing you what because it tracks eye movement as well. So are you watching it, stuff like that? Yeah, because it'll use your camera, so it'll track your eye movement. Are you paying attention to it?
God, that's crazy.
I didn't know that.
No,
but like I said, it benefits you realistically.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to go to a point where everything's tracked. There's already these glasses now that you can obviously put on, and the digital glasses that you can get notifications to, and that's realistically what we're going to. You're going to have with glasses now where it'll probably Google Maps it and show you down the street, but it's that the adaptability of what technology is coming. How do you then use the content to build that element of brand and trust? Like I said, it's all about the video content. Like I said, the video content is raw. It's more, you can see the product in different lights and stuff like that. It creates an element of trust. Whereas a single image, it has a purpose, but it doesn't. A single image can be edited essentially. As in, look, a video can be edited, but you have more of an understanding of it because it's a more prolonged video and you see it in more lights and you see it in more activity. You have more value in it. Whereas, like I said, a single image is you've got a 16 by 9 or a 16 by 16 element, which is quite small. And you think it's small in a form, that you've then got to try and fit as much detail, as much USPs in it without overfilling it, because then the algorithm on Facebook and Instagram push you down if you've got too much information in it. So it's, like I said, the content's probably the hardest thing to do because there's so much of it and there's so many different placements of it. Like I said, it's getting that fine balance of how to do it.
But there's so many tools out there now as well that you can use.
Yeah,
you know, especially on social media. Like it's a free platform to use.
Yeah.
You know, use it as a business.
Yeah.
Just use it to its ability. They're always updating stuff, and like you said, things are moving forward. You've got to go with it, because it's only going to benefit you moving forward with a business anyway.
The amount of that we've done in the last year for content creation in our training. So I mean, we very much try and keep you ahead of the curve, and we're trying to much. Like I said, we've got obviously Aaron's just put in some content on CapCut and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like we're and not to like toot our own horns and stuff like that, but we're very much we go to TikTok webinars, we go to the HQs. Obviously, we're Silicon Valley and stuff like that. We've been to Google and stuff like that. Like we're trying to go and learn as much as possible, so then we're ahead of the curve. There's going to be something not content related, but Google in 2024 are changing the way that their analytics are evolving and stuff like that. So then that's in 2024. We've just started 2025. We're now in 2024, so we've got a year to do it, but it'll be in our system by March.
Yeah.
So you've done me like it's how your change as a unit and as a platform, I think, is probably one of the most advanced platforms that I've ever worked with in terms of putting stuff before it's required. And like I said, trying to keep people, like I said, the content creation we've worked a lot on. We've made a content lounge. We're in April, we're going to obviously do content days and stuff like that. Like we're trying to give as much possible value to the members.
Yeah, because it is always changing, and if we just left everything as it is, you could still do something really good, but we want to be ahead. So then like when the next thing's launched, straight away we're like, we've got this that will cover this for you.
But it is
like learning with us kind of thing.
I think content the thing is, when you watch it, I think we were saying it to someone yesterday, like you just wouldn't believe how much effort and planning goes into it. Yeah. And if you're trying to do it on your own, not really having a clue, just obviously you can do it, but it's going to take you, years to figure out how to make it look good. So the workshop content days are just going to be a complete game changer.
Yeah,
the training that we're implementing as well. Like we're giving you the tools to use it, and we're showing you how to use it as well. And the access that you have to ask us questions as well. Like I said, we reply to DMs within 4 hours, 6 hours. You know what I mean? Like even though we're an 8 hours behind, I think I replied to someone at 11 o'clock last night, and I was replying at 6 this morning. Do you know what I mean? Like I go to bed doing DMs, I wake up doing DMs. Like I try and make sure that there's not a prolonged period of time, because 24 hours in social media or in the digital world is a long time, unfortunately. If we're not there at the forefront and giving you that information and that adapting weekly, then not only do we fall behind, as experts as well, we want to be knowledgeable as much as possible. We want to continue, and we're on a lot of the time, because it's so evolving, we're on the journey as much as the members are on the journey. We just know the sources, how to get it first, and then because we have knowledge of it already, it's just that an additional knowledge and stuff like that. So it's easier for us to intake and break down. Well, I said there's always a journey that, as much as we know everything and all powerful, there's an element of well, I am. there's an element of obviously we're constantly learning and constantly adapting as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's us staying ahead that then benefits the members, because they're going to be ahead than if you were on your own trying to figure this out. Oh, TikTok have launched this, Instagram have launched this. But like you say, we have like that knowledge beforehand that we can start learning it ourselves, know everything, put it out there for the members.
It's trips like this as well that I kind of appreciate. I can sit back and like watch you obviously experts work and stuff like that. Like this morning, like we were driving, obviously we're taking a couple of pictures and stuff like that. And like Josh is like, oh no, you can't take it this way because the sun's there. And like, I'm like, that's the expert. I'm like, can I just do some ads? Do you want marketing? Like, what can I do? And like, it's like, it's that understanding of like the exposure and stuff like that. Like, I think, just take a picture.
Yeah.
Like,
but it all comes to
noticed.
it all comes to experience and learning and progress moving forward as well, though. Do you know what I mean? You have to start somewhere. And if you don't start, you're never going to progress with it.
Oh my God. Sometimes me and Ryan will look back at his old stories, like in his archive, and we laugh so much. He's like, we're walking around somewhere.
Mine's the same.
And now you see him, he's like this. Just even that, like,
Crazy.
but you have to start somewhere, like you say. You have to learn, and you learn
have
from
to.
that.
But but going back to like updates and that in the system, like how committed are we like to members is ridiculous. Like I don't think there's any other systems out there that do updates within their systems, and they're always backdated all the time.
Yeah.
But we do it because we want to help with our own businesses.
Yeah, definitely.
And also push members as well.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
And I think trips like this, like the amount of stuff that we just brainstorm together every time we get together, like nobody stops talking. We're brainstorming. What can we do with this? What can we do more to help members get this? Like, and it's just full of us. Like, even though there's no members here, it's not a retreat. Like, it's all about members still.
Yeah, of course. It's inspiring though. Like speaking to you yesterday, one of the members doing 86k in December. Like, how inspiring is that to see?
Well, and it's nice to see like everyone else work as well. Like what you said, just seeing like what they're saying, or like a member that I was working with was on a Zoom with Alex, so I was helping him with the B2C side, and then jumping on with Alex to see him doing B2B. Like it is really nice.
I don't think there's been a moment where I've not walked through the house and not one of us is working. I'm like, I'll be quiet in that room because Alex is there, Ryan's there. Right, I'm just going to stand here. I'm not going to do for the next 10 minutes. I'm not going to do. I'm just going to stand here. And I'll go find a quiet corner. I'll do that. But yeah, I think like I said, you committed because it's that sense of excitement. If I find something new, I'm first right in the expert. I'm in the group. And I'm like, guys, this is really good. And then I'm like, I'm so excited. And then I start thinking about, this member, that member. I'm like, right, can I do it now? And sometimes you're like, right, we need to do a video. When can we do the video? When can we do the training? And stuff like that. But like, there's so much like that's constantly looking into and constantly evolving, and like the different ideas. And I think that's why we could list off hundreds of members that are successful in B2B, in B2C, that have grown. And I think it's also a credit as well. It's not business. There's so many that are successful in business, but I think the community have changed as well. You see so many personalities come out of the show a lot more. Like that sense of confidence and inclusion.
We do that all the time, don't we? Where we're like, oh, can you remember them? Like a year ago. And like now, it is so true. It's not just about the business or making money. It's just developing your mindset, making new friendships. Just just being a better person.
But it is, you've got to have a purpose. You believe in what you're doing, but like you said, like you change your circle and you surround yourself with people that have the same mindset, that are like-minded. Like you're only going to grow yourself. You stay in that same circle, you're only going to know that.
It
circle.
almost sounds so cringy, like when you say it, or where it's like, oh, everyone's saying it.
It's cliche, but
it is so true. Like, so true. And you need that, because otherwise it's lonely. You get demotivated, and before you know it, you're back to where you started.
Yeah, and I think like that idea of obviously changing your circle, and obviously that being the people around you and stuff like that. Like sometimes it doesn't benefit you to be the smartest person in the room. Do you know what I mean? Like the cleverest person in the room probably hasn't got the 100 IQ, but he takes information from everyone. And I think that's probably a perfect way to end our podcast. Like I said, like the team, the community that we create, like it goes beyond is something else. And like I said, I think it's perfect to end on that. Like I said, guys, thanks for joining us.
Welcome. Thank you, guys.